Yeah, it'd be Sports Report. Be here. I'm gonna break down SEC matchups of Week 9 and a couple of other big matchups this week. Some pretty good ones. Uh, we're gonna get started with WKU at Vandy. Uh, well, in years past, WKU Western Kentucky has been good, but this year they're kind of squeaking by. They're usually kind of a contender for the Conference USA. They've been real good since they switched over to Division One. Not so much this year. Not much to talk about here. But like I said, the SEC team involved. I'm gonna go ahead and just take Vandy in this game. Brings me to the Southern Miss Tennessee game. Tennessee fans, you votards. I figured after Kentucky beat y'all last week, Obus Jones be gone. I think a lot of y'all kind of figured the same thing, but he's still here. Southern Miss is 6-2, maybe 6-3 now. I didn't look at the record. Kentucky got by them down in Southern Miss. Southern Miss ain't got a bad team. They got a really good running back, strong running game. Therefore, why I'm going to take Southern Miss in this game, beat the Votards. Y'all might get John Kelly back this week. Even but Lyle there, he just said, we'll see how they look. Come back off suspension. But yeah, Southern Miss. I'm just gonna go ahead and give you a little score here. We'll say 38-35. I might give Tennessee that many points on Southern Miss. Let's go 35-17. Southern Miss. Brings me to UMass at Mississippi State. We see when UMass did Tennessee. Kind of got Tennessee in this uproar where they're at now. Mississippi State handles UMass. Ain't nothing to break down here. It's going to be big. They're going to walk the dog on them. So I think Nick Fitzgerald's going to look like a Heisman contender. It brings me to Florida, Mizzou. Mizzou's actually a favorite in this game too. Got 3.5 points. So you can't call it an upset, but so Mizzou will. I'm going to take Mizzou here too. Mizzou can put up a lot of points. I'm going to say Mizzou wins this game kind of big. And that defense will give up a lot of points too, though. Florida, they got an RD. I'm going to say 45-24, Mizzou. I think at 3.5 point spread, I think they kill it. Florida's got a new intern coach this week. So we'll see what Florida looks like, but from where they're standing right now, I'm taking Mizzou. 45-24. Brings me to Auburn, Texas A&M. Well, I'm expecting big things out of A&M Auburn this year. I'm gonna say some of the other stuff for later videos, but as we all know, they got Georgia next week. They got Alabama in the last game of the season. I'm taking Auburn in this game. Texas A&M has played close games against some big teams. So therefore, I'm going to go ahead and Auburn's going to win this game. 35-20. Auburn's a 16.5-point favorite. But I'm going to say 35-20. Auburn wins, which would bring me to USC Junior versus Georgia. The spread is 24. The question is, can South Carolina even keep it close that long? The answer is no. No. So, final score here, I'm going to go 49-17. I'm going to say South Carolina has throws in a couple garbage touchdowns in. But they also keep, they do score a couple early touchdowns. At least an early touchdown, maybe a field goal. Their field goal kicker is anything. Watching Kentucky South Carolina game, we all know their kicker ain't no good. But he's gonna make one this week. Brings to Coastal Carolina, Arkansas. I'm just gonna take Arkansas. Ain't much to talk about there. Brings you to the SEC game of the week. LSU at Alabama. Alabama is favored by 21.5 points. Just a betting man, I would take LSU in this game because Alabama's not covering, not even at home. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you are a betting man, take LSU straight out. Straight up. LSU's going to win this game, and their usual lackadaisical shootout, 17-14. LSU wins this game. Alabama's average. Their teams ain't nothing compared to what they've had in years past. On their dominance, their dynasty. This team's like one of the worst. Like the past, 10 years at least. Well, that's going to close out my SEC version of this. I'm going to go ahead and start breaking down some of the other games. Top 25 teams. First one up is Iowa State at West Virginia. West Virginia is actually favored in this game by 2 points. Right before I made this video. But Iowa State wins this game. Iowa State's had a pretty good year going. Bringing this third string quarterback in, backup quarterback, and he's showed out so far, turned his team around. I'm gonna say this game's not even, it's gonna be way worse than the spread. There is no defense in the Big 12, but I'm gonna go 35-24. Iowa State wins this game. Brings it to Ohio State at Iowa. This is only put this on because if you know anything, Iowa has been in the years past a Big Ten contender. And Kurt France usually always has Iowa ready for these big games. And Ohio State's actually a 17.5-point favorite. But I'm telling you right now, right now, Iowa's going to win this game. Probably a low-scoring affair, too. 20-14. Iowa gets the job done. So I'm going to go moving on to Clemson, NC State. It's Clemson at NC State. I think NC State's actually favored in this game too. No, Clemson is favored by 8 points. But Clemson don't get the job done. Put your money on NC State at home. 42-38. NC State wins this game. Pretty sure the Wisconsin IU game, Indiana. It's at Indiana. Wisconsin is a pretty heavy favorite. 12 points favorite. So they're double point favorites. Wisconsin ain't played nobody this year, and the couple of games I have seen Indiana this year, they're not a bad team at all. I mean, they almost upset Ohio State, at the beginning of the year, first game of the year. They had Michigan, on the ropes, took them to overtime. I'm gonna say Indiana finally gets the job done this weekend against Wisconsin, who ain't played nobody, and gives Wisconsin their first loss this season. So, 38-28. Indiana gets the job done. That brings us down to only a handful of, we're at a handful of undefeated teams right now. That narrows it down. That'll narrow it down a couple more. Let's go down to the Virginia Tech Miami game. Miami's also undefeated here, and Virginia Tech's actually favorite, 2.5 point favorites over Miami right now. It's at Miami, but I'm going to say Virginia Tech gets the job done. Wins this game 24-17. So that's 2 undefeated teams, 3 actually. Because if you remember, just the SEC part of it, I picked Alabama to lose. So that brings me to the Big 12 no having defense conference here. Their game of the week. Oklahoma at Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State has too much offense for Baker Mayfield and Oklahoma to keep up. And I'm going to go ahead and say Oklahoma State wins this game 45-31. And actually, Oklahoma State's only a 3-point favorite. But 45-31, Oklahoma gets the job done. Now I'm going to move on to the game I saved to end this video with. I wanted to break down all the rest of the games before I got to this. It's my Cats, UK. We're welcoming Ole Miss this weekend. And we're actually 3.5 point favorites right now. Right before I made this video, with 3.5 points. We opened up at 4.5 points. So we've lost a point there. I've only seen highlights of Ole Miss since Shea Patterson went down. But I've seen some highlights of this. I think he's a freshman quarterback, but their backup. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. But the only thing that was going to worry me is if he goes all just Fitzgerald on us and runs on us too. We made some changes in our defensive backfield there. I think it's going to be a tough game. But there's a stat I actually heard today, brought up by an Ole Miss fan. Ole Miss's first 7 games, they gave up, I think it's 7 games, but they given up like 1,200 yards rushing. So I'm going to call for another big output by Benny Snell here. But I want to see something else done this weekend. I don't want Benny Snell just to be the only one carrying the ball. I want to see Saheem King get somewhere between 12 to 15 carries. I want Benny right around 15 carries. And I want to see A.J. Rose get the ball about 10 times. That's not even counting with Steven Johnson. All the plays are going to be in his hands. But, we don't blow nobody out. But I think Kentucky gets his job done. And we win this game, I'm going to say 31-20. We'll score a late touchdown or something in the fourth quarter. They kind of widen the horizon there. You know what? 31-24. We'll give up some points in the fourth quarter, too. Kentucky gets the job done 31-24. We beat Ole Miss. I'm going to go ahead and have a couple more things to say to y'all. I'm going to give you my top 4 for the college playoffs here. That comes out here in a little while. I'm sure a lot of y'all are going to disagree. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now. At number 1, Alabama. No. That's what a lot of people think, though. I'm going to tell you right now. It's Georgia. Georgia will be number 1 in the college playoffs. Tonight. Alabama comes in at number 2. Notre Dame comes in at number 3. And I'm going to say Ohio State comes in at 4. So that's Georgia at number 1, Alabama at number 2, Notre Dame at number 3, and Ohio State at number 4. Even though you could easily put Oklahoma at number 4 because Ohio State did lose to Oklahoma at home in the head-to-head. But thanks for watching. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Like, subscribe my videos, my page. You can also find me on Facebook, The Beat Sports Report. Peace.